composition of shapes. Example 1. So we're going to find the area. And so as we look below, we see we have 3 different shapes, right? We have 2 triangles and 1 square. And so what we're going to do is we're going to find the area of each one, add them up, and that will be our total area. So let's go ahead and look at the first triangle up here. So if we remember, the area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. So, right, the area is equal to that. And so if our base then is 1 and our height then is 2, let's go ahead and put that all in. So we have 1/2 base, which is 1, and then times 2. So let's go ahead and solve. So we have 1 divided by 2, and we get, right, just 0.5, then times 1, then times 2, and we get 1. So our area of the first one is 1 milliliters squared. So let's go ahead and find the area of the second triangle, right? So the area is 1/2 times the base times the height. So our base here is still 1, right? And our height is now 3. So if we fill that in, we have that. And so we just get our calculators out. 1 divided by 2, right, just 0.5 times 1 times 3, and we get 1.5 milliliters squared. I'm going to go ahead and just box those in to understand that we need to add those eventually together. And so now we do the square, right? And we know it's a square because it's the same. It's 1 and 1 for the length and the width, right? So our area for this one is length times the width. So we get 1 times 1. And what do we get? We get 1 milliliters squared. And so we can go ahead and find the total area for this. So we get 1 milliliter squared plus, right, the first one. So we done this one, we added that one. So 1.5 milliliters squared. So we've done that one. And then this last one. And so what do we get for the total area? Well, we got 3.5 milliliters squared. And that would be our solution. Now let's go ahead and look at the last example here. So example 2, we're going to find the total area of part of the hospital as shown below. So we have, right, this top part, which is 240 meters, 336 meters, 96 meters, 288 meters. So we're just missing 2 parts, right? We're missing these 2, right? We don't have numbers for them, but we can go ahead and calculate. Because this top part, right, has to be equal to this and this. So if we go 240, right, we're going to call this x. So x is going to be equal to 240 minus this 96. So let's get the calculator out. We have 144. So that's what that is. Now this red part. So this red part has to be equal to 336 when you add this to it, right? So this little red part plus this number is equal to 336. So we can call that y, right? And so y is equal to this 336 minus 288, right? We just take those. So look at the calculator out. And we get 48. So y is equal to 48. So actually, I'm going to rewrite this a little bit right here. So we have 48, and then x is 144. Okay, so now we have all our units. We can go ahead and solve. And so there's two ways we could solve for this, right? So we could go ahead and act like this whole thing is actually just a full-on rectangle, right? Even though we are missing this little bit, we can go ahead and calculate that second and just take this whole big total area and minus this little part. So that's one way we could solve, right? So you take this, the whole shape, and then you're going to go ahead and subtract the small little part from here. So that's one way, right? And this is the 144, and this is the 48. That makes sense. So here's one way. The second way would be to just take this and then cut it right here. And we would solve for essentially this part, and then we would go ahead and solve for that part. And then we just add those together. So there's two ways we could solve. So let's go ahead and do the second way. So the second way we could solve for it is we could go ahead and solve for this top half. And then we could solve for this little part and then just add those together. So let's go ahead and do that, and that will be our second way to solve. So notice we could do either way, right? You could do the first method or you can do the second method. Either way will work and get us to the right solution. So this one, right, we're going to go ahead and take the top rectangle. We have 240 and then 288 on the side. And then the small little one over there, right, is just, these are not drawn to scale at all, right? But this is the second little green part. So we'll just color this in to make it shown which part is which part. So all we have to do is then multiply 240 times 288, right? Because it's the length times the width. So we have 240 times 288, and we get 69,120. And so this is how we find, right, the area of, right, two rectangles. So this is the area of the first one. When you go area is times 240 times 288. Then the area of the second one is going to be 48 times 96. And we got 4,608. Right, and then also this is all in meters. So this is meter squared, and this is also meter squared. And so we just add these two together. For the total area. Maybe we'll say like that. We'll rewrite that. Total area, which is going to be equal to we got 73,728 meters squared, and that would be our total area, and that would be our solution.